This video will review how to find appropriate terminology and construct effective search strategies in databases of biomedical literature focusing on PubMed. Sherry Morgan is the Clinical and Graduate Research Liaison Librarian from the Biomedical Library, primarily working with grad students in nursing and medicine on research topics for courses. She also works with nursing and medical clinicians on hospital-based projects related to direct care, policy development, or healthcare administration. In order to get you started with your capstone research, you need to be aware of two main sources of evidence: bibliographic databases and gray literature. Bibliographic databases are very organized resources to help you find evidence in journal articles on your topics. Examples are PubMed, Embase, and CINAHL, the nursing database. There are other databases that focus on very specific areas of health-related literature, such as Global Health, PsycInfo, or Popline. Popline covers maternal child health, reproductive health, and other population-related topics. There are also multidisciplinary databases, such as Scopus and Web of Science. These databases help you to look into the health, life, and social sciences, as well as environmental studies and other academic disciplines simultaneously to expand your literature retrieval. Gray literature, which is chiefly found on the web by searching Google or other search engines, contains information that is not usually listed in bibliographic databases. It may be very important for your research. Examples are CDC statistics, FDA drug or device information, or conference presentations from professional societies. You can also get full-text downloadable information from large, non-government organizations. Examples are the RAND Corporation, a think tank in Santa Monica, California, the Pew Charitable Trust, and the Kaiser Family Foundation. These organizations conduct research on many socially relevant topics, including health issues. The library has developed a public health guide. It includes resources that may be especially helpful as starting points for searching or to find additional information once you've finished searching the bibliographic databases. PubMed and Embase are the most often used databases in the health sciences. Along with our other restricted resources found on the Biomedical Library homepage, they require a PIN key authorization for off-campus. They both cover the literature back to the 1940s and have special subject headings. Special subject headings are MESH terms for PubMed and Emtree terms for Embase. Both databases depend on the Boolean operators AND, OR, and NOT to construct search strategies. They also have filters that allow you to refine your topics by age, date, language, publication type, etc. You can register with each database to save a search strategy for use in the future. Boolean connectors are essential elements in creating a search strategy, and you have to understand how they work before you start searching. The Boolean connector OR requires that two or more terms can be combined to represent a concept that is part of your research topic. It expands your retrieval. For example, searching for meals or breakfast or lunch or dinner or supper would retrieve more article citations than if you searched only for the meals term. The Boolean connector AND connects two or more terms to limit the results to include all concepts that represent your topic. For example, milk and cookies will retrieve articles that talk about both concepts. Articles about only milk or only cookies would not be retrieved. The Boolean connector NOT is used to eliminate one or more concepts from your retrieved citations. For example, meat, not tofu will eliminate all articles that mention tofu, including those that contain tofu and meat together. When you use NOT, be careful that you don't eliminate great articles that might talk about both topics. Searching databases. We will start with finding PubMed on the Biomedical Library homepage. Note that there is a search box where you can enter search terms, or you can go to the PubMed homepage by clicking on the PubMed image. To help you get to our homepage, please refer to the link highlighted on the screen. Other essential elements that you need to understand before beginning a search are controlled vocabulary terms, MESH terms, or medical subject headings used in PubMed Medline are one example. click on the MESH database of subject headings. Now that you can find the MESH database homepage, you might be wondering what MESH terms are and why they're important. The National Library of Medicine, part of the National Institute of Health, produces PubMed and has indexers who assign appropriate MESH terms to each journal article citation entered into the database. When properly used, MESH terms can gather together articles about a topic no matter how the topic is referred to by an author. For example, if someone wrote an article for the consumer using the term heart attack, it would be found by searching for the MESH term myocardial infarction. But if you actually type in heart attack, you would get the same number of citations because PubMed recognizes it as a synonym for the MESH term myocardial infarction. Once you've found a MESH term that represents your topic, you can send it to the PubMed Search Builder. You can add other terms, keywords, or additional MESH terms, and select the Boolean operator that you wish to use. And is the default, but OR and NOT are available from the pull-down menu. Once you have placed all terms in the builder box, click on Search PubMed. Here's an example of how you can choose multiple MESH terms to add to the PubMed Search Builder. Typing in myocardial gave us 42 potential MESH terms, and we selected 3 to move to the Search Builder using OR. Let's now try to answer a question using what we've learned so far. To answer the question about whether consuming red meat can lead to obesity, we need to first identify which concepts are relevant to building a search strategy. Here we've identified 2 concepts, red meat and obesity. Now we can decide which MESH terms might be appropriate. The more general MESH term meat and the more specific term red meat are available, as is the MESH term obesity. These are good terms to use as you begin to create a search strategy. Along with the MESH terms we've just chosen to represent the 2 concepts, we can expand our results by including the keywords red meat and obesity. It's often necessary to include keywords found in the title or abstract, as some PubMed citations do not have MESH terms. To further increase retrieval of citations, keywords can be expanded by adding an asterisk at the end of the root word. If we use OBES asterisk instead of the full word obesity, we will also retrieve keywords with alternative endings such as obese, obesity, obesity-related, etc. Lastly, you can choose filters such as English or other languages and can restrict the time frame of the results to the past 5 years. Note that PubMed has literature back as far as the 1940s for some topics, so it is important to consider how old the publications of interest would be for your topic. There are other filters available, such as age or article type, for example, randomized controlled trials or review articles. Because age was not part of the question, you may not need to consider it for this topic. In creating a search strategy, you should think about the following questions. How would you apply Boolean connectors? Are there other terms for either concept that might expand your retrieval that you would consider? Once again, here's the front page of PubMed. Remember to use the link on the Biomedical Library homepage, as it has pinned text options to our subscribed journals. Remember to click on the MESH database link to find MESH terms. After selecting the MESH database and searching for the term meat, you will see official MESH headings. Both the red meat and the more general meat MESH terms are selected. This page shows the tree structure or hierarchical arrangement of all MESH terms related to red meat. Note that this term was very recently added to the MESH database, 2016, as a more specific term under the broader MESH term meat. This means that we also need to add the keywords and keyword phrases to represent the concept in order to gather all relevant article citations. In order to see all your search steps, click on Advanced. This is the Advanced Search page with an example of a search strategy that uses mostly MESH terms. However, you can narrow the broad MESH term meat by adding the keyword red to it and then filtering the results for English language and the last 5 years, or whichever filters would be appropriate for your topic. Here's another example of a search on this topic. Note that there are 6 iterations of the search. The original search was revised to include related terms for the concept obesity. Also added is the keyword phrase red meat to the meat concept terms. Changes are highlighted in green. Once you have completed your search, you will want to download a file of your citations so that you can import them into RefWorks, EndNote, or any bibliographic software. In PubMed, you can do this by using the Send To pull-down menu. The options are Citation Manager or File. Citation Manager will allow you to download up to 200 citations. File has no download limit. If you choose File, you must set the format to Medline. Finally, once you have completed a search strategy and are satisfied with the results, it is wise to keep track of what you did, terms you used, both mesh terms and keywords, filters you applied, and how you use Boolean connectors and the number of citations retrieved for each database are important. Keeping track of what you did and your results may be needed for the methods section of a paper if you decide to publish in a journal. If you meet with Sherry or one of the other medical librarians, we will send you a PDF of the final advanced search page. Then you will have what you need to make a table or write up your methods.